For the last 7 days, I did something that would have felt illegal in 2024, and that's I stopped using Google search. No more traditional search bar, no more Googling it. I switched my entire digital life over to this, Perplexity AI. The internet claims that this is Google's gravestone. Well, is it just hype? I ran it through the ultimate test, from simple questions to planning my next business move. By the end of this video, you will see everything exactly as it happened, and the results, well, they completely shocked me. So day one is here. I start using Perplexity AI instead of Google search to see which one is best for business owners and entrepreneurs. And what I find is that there's a complete difference between the two. I'm keeping it simple for the sake of this video, but I didn't jump all in straight away to Perplexity AI. I started by just using it for generalized questions, my day-to-day stuff, things I might buy, things I want to watch on TV, things about the NBA season starting. I started with all of these things. Now, I've done a search for how tall is the Eiffel Tower, and when I've done the search for how tall is the Eiffel Tower, you can see here, this gives me the exacts. I'm assuming that they're right, 330 meters. Wikipedia's underneath. Then there's some links to like Tour Eiffel, which is exactly what these use, which Perplexity AI uses as its data. But look at the information that I get provided with. So this gives me a better summary than this. It also links directly to the sources where it got the information from, starts with the sources, and gives me follow-up answers and other questions that are related to it. What modifications have been made to its height? And then it will go away and it will answer that question too. And it will do the same thing with sources. So, straight away, it wins. Perplexity AI wins just off the bat. When I start using it for general stuff, I'm like, whoa, okay, this like I should be using this more. Then I started thinking, well, what about shopping? Because that's an everyday question. You know, you'd ask, what's the best price for this, or best TV, or whatever it is that you're looking for your house, new laptop as an entrepreneur, whatever. So I then start doing searches for like what are the best noise cancelling headphones. And remember, we're just using basic search here for Perplexity AI. We're not using deep research Perplexity. We're not using AI mode for Google search. We're strictly using just the normal search engines. And if I ask Google the same thing, its mode, what I get back from Google with this answer is a list of sponsored results that come from their own paid advertisements, and then links to their organic rankings, which have good questions, like where historically I would probably go, like have a look at Reddit, see what people are saying. But on the right-hand side, although taking a little bit longer to run, is reviewing 17 sources of information to find what it thinks is the best solution for my question. And that is something that I really appreciated, because it meant that I have the actual information here. You can see the review stars, several excellent noise cancelling headphones. Here are some standout options across leading brands and price points. Sony's wireless models are widely praised for comfort. It gives me some background into it. Would I dig deeper if I wanted to? Probably. But it gives me all of the sources that I want and a summary of what it considers to be best next steps. So for me, again, Perplexity AI wins. It doesn't favour anything in particular, like it doesn't. So the final general question on day one that I would ask it, like these are examples of course, but like how to properly brew a pour over coffee. So we do a search on Google search, and we do a search on Perplexity for that. Now, Google gives me its AI overview. And its AI overview then gives me a YouTube link to a Starbucks coffee. When it comes down to Perplexity, it gives me step-by-step guides, very similarly to what this gives you. But this is, this is a little bit more generic than what you see from Perplexity. When it comes to Perplexity, it showcases to you the example amounts of coffee and then a source. It gives you this, then a source. Here, you can see that it's pulling information from a multitude of individual areas. Do they flow properly together? Is it the right coffee mix? Are you giving me different videos for every single one? Because they don't match. I'm assuming so. Whereas Perplexity AI, when I searched it on there, actually gives me further questions. I can, share the answers. I can do other individual things. I can, like the comments of it, view the sources on their own. It just feels like a lot of a stronger approach. So day one, straight away, I was thinking Perplexity AI is onto something. So throughout days 1 to 3, I'm impressed. I'm using it generically for all of my generic phrases and things and like recipes and stuff. And I'm just finding Perplexity is better, right? I'm just finding the information it gives me is better. But then I wanted to start challenging it because I was like, right, well, Google search has been the way that I've always done things, okay? I've always done it. Now, then let's do a search. I wanted practical, actual, realistic use cases. So I want to start a YouTube channel about AI automation for small businesses, right? Create content and strategy for my first 5 videos. I stick that inside of Perplexity. Google gives me this with some target keywords. Video 2, never miss another customer message. They're not exactly poor, but they're not. When it comes down to Perplexity, you can see here, it pulls from different sources, which so does Google search, but it's basically pulling examples and trying to copy them from that. It doesn't really give me any feedback. Video 3, video 4, video 5. These topics are designed to be search-friendly tutorial. And then if you go through and look at these individual action checklists, starting your YouTube channel. So it pulls this information, defining your niche and audience. It gives me this context, channel branding and setup, etc. Real results, my first 30 days with AI business automation. Complete guide, automating social media posts with AI. They're pretty similar. I still think Perplexity wins because of the sources. It's used 20 sources to find that. This is just pulled from Quora. So pretty similar, much better layout in Perplexity. Timestamps given in Google. So I still think Perplexity wins because of the sources that it gives me and where it pulled the information from. But because things like this, Reddit and stuff, they are a little bit they're a little bit loose. Maybe this pulled from Reddit too. It did. So running from a YouTube system. So let's call that one a draw, right? We've gone for the content strategy. That's a draw. Now let's do another search for find me 3 high protein vegetarian recipes for dinner this week that take less than 30 minutes to create a shopping list for all 3. Let's do that here. Real life use case examples. I've done this. See this 3-day meal plan. Gives me links to the individual locations. Dinner, this is it. Ingredients, chickpea, quick instructions. Add curry powder, tomatoes. Significantly more detail. Produce, pantry, 2 bags, tells me the number. Just answers significantly better. This is a beautifully formatted output that actually gives me a real understanding about how I can go and create these meals and how I can go and take it. Yeah, this gives me the information. It's not specific at all. It doesn't give me anything. It literally just says it takes 30 minutes to make, pulls from 3 sources, and that's it. This gives me the full list. And not only that, it tells me how much I actually need for each one, right, in terms of volume. So Perplexity AI, once again, comes out as a winner, in my opinion. Okay, so Perplexity's winning like 80% of the wars, and even when the other 20%'s a draw. So Google search has not been anywhere near. It's not won once out of any example that I've given it. And when I was doing it in real life, I did a lot more than just these generic searches. So then we're going to do something that Google search is not historically made for. Let me get rid of that quote mark. And I want the boilerplate. Give me the boilerplate code for a simple React component that fetches data from an API and displays it in a list. And we're going to use Google search for this. Now, this is the information that it gives me. Now, it also says something went wrong. Let's see what this does in terms of the AI solution. I'm putting business practice in it now, where you probably wouldn't normally see Google search used, but I'm thinking about where I can live, where can I stay, like my one-stop shop for what I'm trying to do. And this is where Google search falls down, because I can't have a conversation with it. It's an AI overview. Feedback, how search works, like this generated this. Like, how do I add... I can't add anything to it. Like, I can't... This is giving me the boilerplate using AI, but this has given me this. And when it comes down to this, the template covers state management for items loaded in error, gives me the brief, gives me the insert where I should insert my API endpoint. If I then say, like, now add a error handling and loading state component, now add error handling and loading state to that component, it already included error handling and loading state. Here's a clear breakdown of those parts inside of the list. So it already gave me that. Throw an error. So if we do a search for the Google search section, did it do that? It did throw an error. So they both covered the error situation. But the point is that you can expand on what you actually have it deliver. And as you can see, you can manipulate it. The specific prompt I gave it, it had already done because it's that good. So had Google. But when it comes down to pushing these to the test, and the items, let's try. I'm writing a paper. So I'm writing a paper on the economic impact of the Roman Empire. Can you give me 5 academic sources and provide 1-sentence summary for each? Let's do that. And let's hit this here. I'm going to hit a new chat in here just to clean it up a little bit. Let's fire that off. Drawing on recent scholarship for economic historians, Roman specialists, here are 5 academic sources that cover this. Gives me the 5 links. Gives them me down the side here. There's more than 5. I asked for 5. I don't know where it's pulled that from. It gives me the individual links to them. Oxford Research Encyclopedias, good sources. Tim and Peter. There is a crossover of some of these. Some of them aren't. This gives me the exact information and the summary. And I just find that pulling up of 20 sources, looking at the steps that it went through, look at what it searched for. It went through significantly more detailed information. And I think Perplexity is king. Perplexity gave me everything that it wanted. It also gave me further related questions that I could ask, analyse the role of agriculture in the Roman economy. If you were doing a paper on it and you wanted to go deeper into this, you would do that. You would have this information. It would dig deeper. It would give you information. It would also list its sources once it's done. And I just found myself gravitating more towards using Perplexity because I can do deeper, complex tasks with authority. And this is just the search, not deep research. This is just the search on both. And Perplexity was coming out on top every time. So after 7 days, is Perplexity Google's AI killer? What shocked me the most is for any question that required any sort of elaboration, Perplexity smashed it out of the park. Perplexity completely smashed it out of the park with no deep research. I wasn't in AI mode for Google either. It was typical search that I wanted to test. The amount of time that I saved not having to click 55 blue links before I found the source that I wanted, or take an AI summary that was of lesser quality than what Perplexity was frightening. But it's not a like-for-like replacement. Google is still excellent as a phone book, finding your local pizza place, finding your local store, whatever. Its widgets are still faster. It's very good for those use cases. When it comes down to anything that's deep research, you effectively have Perplexity in your pocket just by using the search engine, not by using the deep research option inside of Perplexity. That's another video. So That's the real conclusion. You still need to have the phone book from a Google perspective, but you'd be silly not to have the librarian in your pocket given the fact that it's available and is exactly the same. So this is a tool that every developer, creator, entrepreneur, business owner needs to try, and they need to try it today. I've put a link in the description below. It won't be new news, Perplexity, but the comparisons are frightening. I want to know what you think, because is this the future, the way that search is going to evolve? We find information online. We drop something into Perplexity and boom, we drop, like, this is the expectation now that we should get as an answer. Drop your comments below and let me know what you think, if Perplexity is going to take over, or maybe even another AI tool. I'd love to get your thoughts on this. A like and a subscribe would be amazing. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one, and I hope that you've enjoyed it.